Hey everyone, welcome back to my machine learning project series. Myself Jivita. I hope you guys are doing great. If you remember, this is a part 3 series wherein we have already completed part 1 and part 2. So in part 1, we discussed about how to define problem statement, objective, data description, importing libraries, loading data, understanding different variables, basic checks to understand data in a better way using some basic checks. And then we started with data cleaning and a pre-processing, wherein we understood how we can find missing values, how we can replace missing values with different strategies, and also we discussed about duplicates. If there are any repetitive values in your data, so how do you handle them? So usually we just drop them, right? And then very interesting thing, we understood what is an outlier, how do we find direction of an outliers, that is using box plot and histogram. And also we discussed what are the different methods that we're gonna use in order to find exact outliers, right? So we have two methods, three sigma rule and an IQR. When data is normal, you need to go with a three sigma rule. When data is skewed, you just need to go with an IQR method, right? So today it's a time to explore what exactly is a exploratory data analysis. Before that, if you have not watched my previous two videos, make sure you watch them so that you can do end-to-end machine learning project without any hustle. Okay. Yeah. So today I'm going to start with exploratory data analysis. Exploratory data analysis is basically the first step in analyzing data. It involves several steps. So basically, first step towards doing any project is first you start with loading data, importing libraries, understanding variables, problem statement, objective. Then you start with the basic checks, right? Right after you do a basic checks, there comes an exploratory data analysis. Exploratory data analysis in the sense, understanding your data, its structure, patterns, cleaning data for further analysis, visualizing to understand it better. So all these things basically comes under a exploratory data analysis. Okay, and you might have a question like what we gonna do with an EDA? With EDA, you can do a lot of things like summarizing data, you can visualize data using different graphs, you can find outliers, handle them, understanding patterns, cleaning data, handling missing values, removing and duplicates, fixing incorrect data if data type is wrong, fixing all these things are going to happen with a exploratory data analysis. Already we have done some part of exploratory data analysis like handling missing values, handling outliers, and also duplicates. So now it's a time to explore the second approach towards this EDA, that is visualizing data so that people can understand what exactly happening in a business. Let's imagine you're working in a Flipkart company and company wants to know how well the business is happening. We all know that just by looking at our numbers or our data, nobody can understand how well certain product is doing, how things are happening in different regions, different countries. So, for every organization, analyzing data plays a very important role. Analyzing data in the sense, plotting different graphs, performing visualization, because visualization is the way where people can understand, anybody can understand what exactly is happening in a business. So it doesn't really require any high technical understanding, a very simple graphs and along with that reading insights out of it. Okay, and key tools used in EDA, obviously, we will be using descriptive statistics, mean, median, standard deviation, according to our requirement. You have seen and handling missing values, handling outliers, and all. And similarly, the second step towards EDA is visualization. So different graphs and then data cleaning, handling duplicates, missing values, outliers. Already this step is already done in a part two. So why EDA important? Obviously, whenever you take up data, cleaning data is important. Spotting and fixing, mixing values, missing values, incorrect values, handling duplicates to ensure accuracy, right, and make decisions. So let's say basically when you have data, if you want to understand which product is doing good, which region is doing really bad, to understand all these, uh, business things, basically EDA plays a very important role. Okay, with an EDA, it's all about understanding data before you dive deep into a analysis or maybe a modeling. It also ensures your data is clean and ready for future work or maybe a further work. Basically, next step towards a project is obviously model building, right? So before you build a model, it's very important to understand what kind of relationship you have between different variables, what kind of information each graph is exhibiting. All those things plays a very important role. So many people confuse that EDA is all about just plotting different graphs, cleaning data. About this, about cleaning data, about this plotting graphs, there is one important thing we call it writing insights. So insights are nothing but understanding what exactly is happening in our business and trying to write them in your own words. So we call them like an insight. Whether you are a data analyst or maybe a data scientist, if your goal is to become either of them, then very important thing is not plotting graph. It's all about reading content of a graph. If you know how to read what exactly is happening in a graph, you become a good data scientist or you become a good data analyst, because interpretation is super important. Plotting graphs, anybody can do it nowadays. Even if I teach it to a child can plot a graph by remembering a code. But how do you stand out unique from other people? By writing an insight. I can see many people fail to write an insights, which is the most important part of any project. So make sure you people focus more on that, so that you don't really struggle, or you don't really face any difficulties even in your interviews. Even in interviews, people can ask you, they can give a scenario, they can ask like which graph you can plot for this, and also can you read the insight from this particular graph. Many fail to do that. So you people have to focus more on writing insights as well, along with other stuff. Okay. Yeah. So now in our exploratory data analysis, cleaning part is already done. Now it's a time to explore data in the sense we have to perform visualization to explore what exactly is happening in a data set, right? So we have three different approaches. One is univariate, bivariate, and multivariate. In the name itself, you can understand things. First, let's start with a univariate. Okay. So univariate is simple. It's all about analyzing one variable at a time to understand probably its distribution, central tendency, or maybe the spread. So simple understanding of univariate is it is used to understand or analyze a single variable at a time. Okay. So by performing this univariate analysis, you will understand how exactly data is looking, or how it's distributed, or maybe are there any outliers or dominant categories. So all these understandings you will get to know with the help of this univariate analysis. And one important thing when it comes to a univariate analysis, many people don't know which graphs comes under univariate analysis. So we have a different graphs that comes under univariate analysis. First one is a histogram. Always remember, histogram requires one numerical data which is used for showing that distribution of a data. If you want to know like how well data is distributed, in that case, histogram plays an important role. Then comes a count plot. Count plot requires one categorical column, that means a text column which has a categories. This is used for understanding count of categories. Let's say, for example, you have a gender column. You just want to understand how many male and how many female you have, and you want to visualize that. So that's where we use a count plot. Next important thing, box plot. Already it's used for understanding the spread of data, or maybe like are there any outliers. Even for box plot, it requires one continuous variable. Okay, then we have a pie chart which shows proportions or percentage of categories as the slices of circle. When you have certain categories and if you want to see percentage of that, then you can also go with a pie chart. Okay, so this is all about a univariate analysis. Now let's start implementing one by one. Okay, first graph is going to be histogram. Okay, and the second graph is going to be, we'll try with box plot. And third graph is going to be count plot. Okay, so you people can start with questions and you can start writing, distribution of you can try plotting graphs related to these things. You can start with a problem statement, or maybe you can say like, okay, find distribution of a age, find distribution of charges, something like that. Or else, let's say you want to find histogram for all the numerical variables and you want to write insights, then also it's good to go. I'll show easiest way, like how you can find, all the, what I can see. Yeah, just a minute. Okay. So if you remember, I have used this particular code. Let's take a same code and let me show you how simple you can plot these histogram for all the numerical columns. So if you know we have certain numerical columns, or we have used the code like select underscore d types, which gave us a list of all the numerical columns. So clearly we have a 4 numerical columns: age, BMI, children, and charges. People can do it individually as well. Okay, let's say for example you want to find distribution of age. Let's say you want to find distribution of age, like that you can do individually, and also you can write an insights. Or else, like if you feel like instead of doing individually, what if I want to try it with all columns at a time, then you can just go with a for loop. If you want to try with one single graph, then you can just use like this. You can just define plt dot First, you can just set a figure size, plt dot figure of. So fixed size is equal to, I'll just give like 4,3. I'll just call SNS dot hisplot. Okay, and then you can just pass one numerical variable, right? First, you can pass a data, and then it should be x is equal to age. Okay, and then I'll give a KD is equal to true, so that, I'll get a curve, right? Okay, so if you don't want that text, you can also use like plt.text, sorry, plt.true. It will show only the image. Look. And if you want, you can also give a color. Let's say I'll give color is equal to red, green, whatsoever colors you want, you can try it. This is how you will find distribution of a age. This is one approach. And second approach is, instead of individually doing, you can customize it with the help of a for loop. You can take all the numerical columns and you can just plot them together. Okay, so let me show you simple interesting one. Let me delete this. We'll do it for multiple columns at a time. So first approach is histogram. We all know that histogram is used to find distribution of variables, right? How well data is distributed, is your data is normally distributed, right skew, left skew. So all this information you get to know with a histogram. Okay, so I'm just using this code. I'm defining figure comma axis and plt dot subplots. There are 4 variables, so I'm saying in one row I want 4 graphs, and I'm setting figure size is equal to 12,2. You can also set it to 4. Okay, then I'm making use of for loop for I, column in enumerate. We all know that enumerate is a function which gives you index and a column name. Okay, if you have a list of columns and if you apply enumerate on that, it just gives you index numbers as well. So that's what here I is taking index, column is going to be the column name. In enumerate of I'm calling numerical columns dot columns. So now for every column, it is going to plot in histogram for you. Data is equal to data, x is equal to column, and axis is equal to axis of I, and KD is equal to true. And then I'm just calling axis of I, I'm calling individual graph and setting title to it as a column name. And I'm just capitalizing first letter of a column name as a capital letter. Okay. And then I don't want to see any overlapping of a graphs, right? It should be like proper separation should be there. So I'm just using plt.tight underscore layout. Okay, let me run this. Yes. So if you want, you can also give a color. So let me just give color is equal to, I'll give orange. Yes. So we got like this. This is an histogram. This is an histogram. So now important thing when it comes to an histogram, so what matters? So anyhow, you people understood plotting graph, it's very simple, right? Plotting graph is like very simple. We plotted. We just used a code, for loop we used, and we plotted graph for multiple columns. So one is age, another one is BMI, another one is charges, right? So these are the different columns for which we have plotted distribution of a data. So now what do you interpret? What are you understanding from each graph? That plays a very important role. Okay, so that plays a very important role. We'll start writing insights one by one related to each graph. Okay, first insights. Okay, let's give a heading like an insights and we'll start writing related to every graph. As I say, as I always say this, to my students usually, writing insights plays a very important role. So look into the age graph. You can see it's highlighted. So maximum customers' age is between what range? So you can clearly see that. Can you see? So writing insights is also one of the skill, okay. You can see maximum information. You can see that maximum information or maximum is within this range. So can I say 20 to 60? I can see that most of the customers' age is between. I can see that most of the customers' age is between 20 to 60 years, indicating a focus on adults in our data set. Right? Usually insurance is not given for our children. Only for the people who are above age of 18 will get this insurance options. Right? So that is 20 to 60. But according to, there are insurance policies even for our children nowadays. But still, according to this data set, the focus is more on adults. That is about age 20 to almost like 60, around 60. That's what we see the concentration, right? Great. Okay, let's write an insights now. Let me just clear this. Yeah. So what did I understand is, okay. So first point, so most of the customers ages between 20 to 60 years, indicating a focus is more on adults. Focus is more on customers whose age is about 20. We call them like an adults, right? That's the first insight you are getting. Okay. All right. So next one, coming to a BMI. So BMI in a sense like a body mass index, right? So clearly you could see that BMI is representing a normal distribution and it is forming a bell-shaped curve. So always look into a range first thing, and also you can look into how well data is distributed, right? So in a case of age, the maximum customer's age was between 20 to 60, and it's not normally distributed, right? Somehow you could see uniform distribution kind of thing, you can see it here. But when it comes to a BMI, even in BMI also, the BMI ranges between 20 to 40, but it is clearly exhibiting a normal distribution. Normal distribution in the sense you can see the bell-shaped curve. If you draw a line at the middle, you can see equal distribution towards left and the right. So related to BMI, I can say BMI basically exhibits the normal distribution. When I say normal distribution, it is showing symmetric distribution. So that means it is symmetrical above the mean. Above the mean, if you try to draw a line, you could see equal distribution towards left and right. That is BMI exhibits a normal distribution. Okay, next important thing is what? Children column. So clearly in our children column, the distribution is like minimum children are like 0 and maximum children is like up to 4 to 5, it's ranging. But children column usually representing a discrete values, right? Children column has discrete values. Discrete values in the sense like number of children. So obviously it should be discrete, right? It's not measurable thing, it's a countable thing. Yeah. And then fourth graph is like a charges. So what do you say about a charges? So maximum insurance charges are basically, you could see somewhere between like 20,000 to 40,000. Only for few people getting insurance cost around 40,000 to 60,000. So what we can say, so clearly charges is exhibiting a right skew distribution with most of the customers facing lower cost, and a few outliers you could see with significantly higher charges. So it completely depends on the age and lot many factors, but I could say that charges exhibits the right skewed, right? So you have more observation towards your right. So charges is exhibiting right skew distribution, with most customers facing lower cost. You could see like a lot of customers are getting lower insurance cost itself. Like maximum people lie within this range only, 0 to 20,000 minimal cost. So probably we might have a more people with less age. Less age means obviously the chance of giving insurance cost will also be less. Higher the age, the insurance, even the cost will also increase, right? That's the one understanding you can get from that charges distribution. Charges is exhibiting right skew distribution with with most of the customers facing lower cost, and few outliers you can see it, few extreme values. So why they are extreme values? So there are few outliers with higher significant charges. Okay. So I could see that with significant higher charges. Okay. So most of the customers age is between 20 to 60. That's what we understood with the help of a first graph, which is age. And then BMI clearly representing a normal distribution, wherein you could see a symmetrical about the mean. And children values are all discrete, countable numbers. And when it comes to a charges, you have more observation towards your right side. That means maximum people are facing a lower cost, but there are certain extreme values, outliers, with significant high charges, because if age is more, obviously there is a possibility that you can expect values to be, the insurance cost to be like higher. Okay, so this is all about histogram, and this is how you will write insights related to histogram. I hope it's clear. All right, so next one, similarly, let's move on to the box plot. Again, for box plot, I'm using the same code and will make a small changes that instead of histogram, you people can just use a box plot. And here you can change your KD. You can remove that, it's not important. And color, let me just change it to a deep pink. Okay, yeah. So box plot, we all know that it is used to identify outliers. Already we have identified the outliers, and also we don't see much outliers. Still, there are certain outliers in our charges, because they're not actually an outliers. There are certain cases wherein people can have high insurance price based on their situations, right? So that's the reason, even though we could see some circles, they're not an outliers, they're adding some information, meaningful information to your data. Okay, again, you can see, you can understand from this, what you can understand from this particular box plot. When it comes to an age column, you could see the minimum age is starting with around 20, and maximum age is up to 60, right? That's what you understand from this. Okay. So in age column, so we can understand that there are no outliers. In each column, no outliers, and minimum age is 20 and maximum age is around 60. Right? We have customers whose age is between 20 to 60. And also like median age is around 40. Okay, you can see the middle line, which is around 40. And also we could understand that there are no outliers, all the values are within a range only, no extreme values, because from 20 to 60, like we have acceptable range of age. Okay. So when it comes to BMI, even in BMI also, so in BMI there are outliers, but they add some meaning to a data set. So even though we have handled an outliers in BMI, still we could see some circles. That means they are not outlier. They are adding some meaning to a data set. There can be a people with high BMI as well, right? We cannot say that like it's an outlier. Some people can be fat when somebody is, weight is high. So obviously the BMI will be more, and we cannot consider everything like an outlier. Because even after handling, even if it shows like a circle, it's not an outlier, because it's within a proper limit range. Okay. All right. Next important thing, coming to our children here, they're all discrete values, so we don't see any outliers. So when it comes to our charges, in charges there are outliers, but we don't consider them like an outlier. You have seen, like we have handled outliers as well. In charges there are outliers, but they are charges with they are significant high. They are like high charges. They are like, I would say, like they are like high charges with respect to certain features. Because like there can be a insurance charge more for the people who has like a more age, more BMI, and depending on certain factors, right? So even though there are charges in outliers, sorry, even there are outliers in our charges, we don't consider them like an outliers, because they're all acceptable. Because there can be there can be high charges for certain people based on certain factors. Okay, this is all about insights related to a box plot. Hope it's clear. Okay, next important thing is like a count plot. Okay, so in a count plot, we know it is used for counting categories, right? It is used for counting categories. Great. So here, instead of numerical columns, I'm just going to take a categorical column. Okay, I'll just say like categorical column. Instead of histogram, I'm going to use like a count plot. And then, yes. And then here, KD should not be there, just remove it. And color, I'll just give it like a look. Yeah. Okay, we have just three categorical columns. So it's good that if you give 1, 3, just find what are the categorical columns you have. So based on that, you will get to know. See, this is the count plot. So for counting categories, you could see from this is very easy, right? Based on a height of bar, you can easily interpret insights related to them. Yes. So what is the insights in this? You can see clearly that when you look into the sex column, that is a gender column. So in our data set, clearly it shows that we have slightly more male data than a female. Okay. So in sex column, majority customers are male. Majority customers are male compared to female. Okay, and the second thing, if you look into the second column, smoker. So maximum customers are non-smokers. Like almost like 1,000 plus. Very few are like a smokers. Okay, so indicating that, so highlighting that majority of our non-smokers are included in this particular data set. Okay. Yeah. And the next interesting insight is coming to a region. So we could clearly see that maximum people are from, maximum customer are from, maximum customers are from. You can see height of a bar and based on that you can decide it. The maximum customers are from Southeast and almost same customers from, almost same number of customers, almost same number of customers from different regions. I mean, like remaining regions, you can just list out that Southwest, Northwest, Northeast, something like that. Okay, so this is all about, writing insights related to your univariate analysis. I hope it's clear. Box plot, count plot, and also histogram. Simple, right? Yes. You can also do them individually as well. Like, if you want to plot more graphs, you can do it individually, like find count of a smoker, count of region. You can frame questions and you can do it individually and you can write insights individually as well. Okay, next important thing is a bivariate analysis. You know what is bivariate analysis? So bivariate analysis in the sense analyzing two variables. We have a different graphs like line charts, scatter plot, bar plot, box plot, cluster bar chart. So line chart should be used when you want to analyze something that changes over a period of time. So clearly in our data, no time column. So we are not using line chart. Coming to scatter plot plays a very important role when you want to find relationship between two different variables. Let's say you want to understand relationship between age and charges, okay, and children with charges, BMI with charges. So what kind of relationship we have as age is more, will charge increase or will charge decrease? So all this analysis could be done with the help of scatter plot. Coming to a bar plot, let's say you want to compare your category with a numerical. In that case, you need to go with the bar plot. It requires one numerical and one categorical. You can also use a box plot to compare distribution of our numerical values across different categories as well. And if there are like multiple categories, then you can also use a clustered bar chart. So, but according to this data, we'll go with two different things. One is we'll try to plot a scatter plot that basically helps you in understanding relationship between two different variables. I just want to understand what kind of relationship we have between two different variables to find relationship between two numerical variables. Max, we need two numerical variables. Okay. Yeah. So scatter plot requires two variables, right? So in this case, I'm not just going with a for loop. Rather, let's use individually. We'll try using a subplot. I'm just using figure comma axis is equal to. Let me define a subplot. PLT dot subplot of. Okay. So I have three variables. Okay, three numerical variables. So you can just take out numerical columns. Dot column. So basically, these are the numerical column. I just want to compare age with charges, BMI with charges, children with charges, because charges is the most important thing, and that was like a important factor we need to consider. Like on what basis the charges is dependent to understand that relationship. How input variables vary with our output variables. So we are just using this particular approach. Okay. So what I'll do 1 comma 3 because in one row we want 3 columns and then you can just specify a figure size. So you can just say figure size is equal to, you can just mention like I'll just say like 16 comma 4. Okay, done. Then what I'll do, I'm just calling SNS dot scatter plot of, I'll just pass our data, comma, x is equal to, I'll use our age, Oh, sorry, I gave a 2 dots here. I'm sorry. Yeah. X equals age and Y should be target column, which is a charges. And then you have to tell the graph number. So I'm just using X is equal to axis of 0. Okay, comma. If you want hue, you can mention. If you don't want, you can just leave as it is. And you can just use a different colors. Okay, so I'll just say color is equal to green. Okay, then similarly, let's say if you want to set a title, you can just use axis of 0 dot set underscore title, and you can just give title like age versus charges. See, I'll just plot. Okay, so we have to give 2 more. That's the reason. That's the issue. Okay, so for remaining analysis, you can just copy paste actually the same code and just modify in the place of age. You can just give a BMI, one single code, and you can just manipulate the same thing instead of wasting time in writing. You can just copy paste and you can modify. Okay, age, BMI, and one more is the children. Great. Yes. Arguments 2 are given. Okay, we didn't change axis, right? So it should be 0, 1, and then it should be 2. Sorry. Yes. Still, with the title, I'm really sorry. Yeah. Okay, I hope everything is right. Let me check once. PLT dot, it should be subplots. Sorry. It should be subplots, not a plot. 1, 3, figure size. Okay, great. Scatter plot. Color. If you want, you can actually give out different colors. Let me just use yellow and let me use orange. Okay. It is displaying. Can you see? So this is basically gives you relationship between two numerical variables. We plot it for different graphs. You people can also do one thing. You can also introduce a hue. Hue in the sense, let's say you have a relationship between age and charges. But what if you want the same thing with respect to sex? You want to understand with respect to male and female. So in that case, you can just introduce this one more parameter, which is like hue. Just introduce one more parameter like a hue. When you introduce a hue, basically you cannot give a color. Color will not work. Color works only for a single color. So in that case, it's better to give a palette. So I'll just give it like a rainbow color. You can just copy paste the same thing for all. Or you can just explore the different colors and you can try out. Yes. Okay. Look. So now based on this, now try to write the insights. So now tell me what kind of relationship you see between first case insights. In first case, what is the relationship between age and the charges? Don't you think as age increases, the charges is also increasing? So can we say there is a direct relationship? As age increases, there is a noticeable trend for higher medical charges, indicating that older individuals will tend to get more healthcare costs, right? So we can clearly see that as age increases, okay, we could say that there's a strong relationship between age and charges, right? As age increases, we could see noticeable noticeable trend for higher medical charges, right? Noticeable trend for higher medical charges indicating old individual will get a better insurance cost or will get a better plan. Old individuals will be paid higher healthcare cost. Yes, this is related to the first graph. You can clearly see that. Positive trend you could see, right? So next one, coming to a BMI and charges. Even in a BMI also, BMI and charges, there is a strong relationship. There is a positive relationship. Strong, positive, one and the same. There is a positive relationship between BMI and charges. Okay, that means as BMI increases, even our charges also increases. That is, As BMI increases, the insurance cost is also increasing. It's also increasing. This is how you people have to write an insert. Okay, next important thing coming to our children. So coming to our children, sorry, yeah, coming to our children, so we just used, okay, I repeated age itself, so you have to change it here for a third case. It should be children. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm doing gymnastics. Yeah, coming to our children and charges, we don't see much relationship, right? So number of children's, or maybe this is just opposite kind of inverse kind of thing. As the number of children increases, the insurance cost will reduce. So I could see that there is a inverse relationship between. I could see that there is inverse relationship between children and price or charges. You can clearly see as the number of children are increasing, you can see the insurance price has reduced. As the number of children are like less, the insurance cost is like more. Kind of inverse relationship you see between, the different, that is between children and charges. I hope it's clear. Great. So this is all about a scatter plot. Now it's a time to explore a bar chart. Okay. So bar chart is like kind of interesting graph, which basically helps you in understanding one numerical variable with another categorical column. It requires one categorical and one numerical is required. Okay. So let me do one thing. So we have three categories, I guess. I'm just copy pasting the same code. Okay. Instead of scatter plot, I'm just using a bar plot, and it requires two categories. So okay. So let me do one thing. Let me just wait first. Let's customize one and then let's do for our remaining. So we know what categories we have now. If you don't know, first try to print all the categorical columns. Then it will be easy for us to plot a bar plot. Okay, we have a sex column. So let's see. Sex with charges. We just want to see like how charges changes with respect to gender, male or a female. Okay, hue is not required. Let's remove it. Okay, let it be pelleting. And then let me just copy paste. Okay, let's make access 1. And here it should be smoker. Let's see how charges will change with respect to smoker. So this should be smoker versus charges. And if you remember here also, okay, here I have modified. Okay, great. Yes. Sorry. Okay, smoker versus charges done. Great. And access should be 1. So make sure you make it 1. Even here, access should be 1. And here remaining retune. Let's just to retune how charges impact. I just want to understand that as well. You people can do this individually, okay? You will get a 3 graphs. Instead of doing it individually, I'm just trying to do it in one single code. So it saves my time. That's it. You people can do it individually and you can showcase more graphs. Yeah, let me run this. So this should be 0, 1, 2. Okay. And if you want, you can give different colors as well. Okay. Of like, let's say we have a dark blue color. And then we have where it is. You can explore the different colors. I guess spelling is wrong. Where it is, it should be R-I. Sorry. Yeah. Look. Okay, so from this, what do you interpret? First, let's go with the first graph. Can you see this age versus charges? So what's your insights? So can we say slightly male got a higher charges compared to female? Yeah. So males are getting highest medical charges compared to female. You can see the bar length was pretty much high for male compared to female, right? And the next one. And the next one, just a minute. Yeah. Okay, look into the smoker. So in a smoker, clearly the insurance charges will be more for smokers and less for non-smokers. Right. So smokers are getting high medical charges. You know the reason smokers are getting high medical charges, or likely due to increased medical charges due to increased health issues. If you're smoking, obviously, it will result in health issues and you will get hospitalized, and obviously, you need an insurance, right? So, smokers are getting, compared to non smokers, smokers are getting high medical charges due to increase, I would say, due to increased health issues. Okay, because with smokers, obviously health issues will be there, and obviously they need high medical insurance cost. Okay, next important thing, coming to our region wise, Southeast region people are getting higher charges compared to rest of the regions. So from this we could see that Southeast bar is like bit higher, right? You can see here bar is higher. So Southeast people, it depends on certain regions as well sometimes. Southeast people, based on the standard of living, lot many factors will influence. Southeast people getting more insurance cost compared to other regions. Compared to other regions. Okay, done. So these are the different insights related to bivariate analysis. I plotted scatter plot and a bar plot. You people can try even, what I can see, a clustered. So here you can see it's overlapping now. So I forgot to give a plt.type layout. So just give this plt.type underscore layout so that you don't see much overlapping. Yes, see like this. Yeah, no overlapping now. It's better. Yes. So this is all about bivariate analysis wherein we analyze two different variables. Okay, now it's a time to explore multivariate analysis. Multivariate analysis in the sense like analyzing three or more variables simultaneously. It helps you in identify patterns, relationship, dependencies about multiple variables. These are like crazy graphs. One is a pair plot, another one is a heat map. First, let me show you how to plot a pair plot. Okay, pair plot is simple. You just need to call your data dot. Sorry, it should be like SMS dot a pair plot, and you just need to pass our data. So what it will do, it just gives you scatter plot. So basically we have a four different numerical column, right? It will give you 4x4 grid, every numerical column paired with other numerical column, and it is giving you the scatter plot. So it basically helps you in understanding relationship between different variables, and you can also introduce Q is equal to, let's say I'll check with 6 column. So this is how colorfully this page chart is going to look like. And you can interpret individually. You can see here age with charges, age with children, BMI with charges, children with charges. So we have four numerical column. Every column is related with other column. So almost like 4x4 matrix I'm getting. Okay. So this is all about a pair plot. You can write insights related to it individually, or else you can just ignore it. Next important thing is like a heat map. Okay, usually heat map is used to find the correlation. You know how to find correlation? I'll just use a numerical column which has numerical data. Only for such columns we find a correlation. Okay, I'm just using numerical column dot, sorry, it should be numerical columns dot correlation. So correlation in a sense, it is one of the mathematical or statistical measure used to identify how strong two variables are. One way of telling how two variables are related is by visualizing using scatter plot. What if you want to say it statistically by giving some number? In that case, we just use a correlation. If correlation is near to 1, we say highly correlated. If it's near to 0, we say less correlated. So I'm calling all the numerical columns. Dot correlation gives you correlation with respect to different numerical columns. See, age with age, obviously 1. Age with BMI is 1. BMI with age is 0.1, like that. So obviously, by looking into this correlation table, you don't understand anything, right? So for that reason, we have another way of visualizing correlation, that is using a heat map. Simple, just call SNS.heatmap. Okay. Yes, SNS.heatmap, and you just need to pass what? Your numerical columns dot correlation. Yes. If I run this, it's going to give me heat map. This is a heat map. You don't understand anything, I'm very much sure, because you must do one thing, which is annotate is equal to true. Annotation in the sense it will write a correlation on each box. Now it's easy to interpret. Wherever you have a lower values or a light color, that means they are highly correlated. Wherever you have a bigger number, that means they are bigger number means like highly correlated, lesser number means which are less correlated. Okay, this is how you can understand how strong two variables are. You can clearly see here age and charges you have like 0.3 correlation, because age and charges are like pretty much related, right? Because more the age, insurance charges will be high, less the age, insurance charges will be less. And also BMI 0.2. Children has less impact, so it's 0.068. So this is how heat map is used in order to, identify correlation between two different variables. Hope it's clear. Okay, this is all about, exploratory data analysis, wherein we analyze data using univariate, bivariate, and multivariate. What matters the most is like what kind of understanding you got from each graph. That plays a very important role. Writing insights plays a very important role in ADA, understanding like what exactly is happening. So clearly, you can write insights even for this heat map as well. If you look between, just a minute, let me show you how to write insights for the schema. First case is like age and charges. Obviously, you have like moderately a positive correlation. Yeah, you could see moderately positive correlation like around 0.3. Okay, so that means what we can see? We can see that age increases as from this we can conclude that as age increases, even charges will increase. Okay, second case when it comes to BMI and charges. Even BMI and charges, you could see a very mild positive correlation. We could see a mild positive correlation. So that means indicates what? As BMI increases, there's a chance of increase in charges, right? So next one, you could see a relationship between children and charges. Between children and charges, we have like a very weak or less correlation. We could see that a weak correlation, like around 0.068. So that means we could clearly see that. So the number of children, having more number of children may slightly increase the insurance charges, but not that effective or not very strong, correlation we could see between this. Okay. There are certain chances, but not accurately. That's the reason there is a weak correlation. And also you can try between age and BMI. Look into age and BMI. In age and BMI, we have like almost 0.11. So again, they're not much related, right? Age and BMI is not, BMI is not dependent on age, right? So I could see that there is a weak correlation, which is around 0.11. So this implies that as age increases, BMI might also increase, but correlation is not strong. Okay, so we can see that as people, as age of people increases, even BMI can increase, but still there is no evidence that saying that as age increases, BMI should also increase. Okay, according to this data, we don't see much correlation. That's the reason we could see the very weak correlation. You can elaborate it, you can write, you can frame statements in a better way. Okay, so this is all about writing insights and exploring data using exploratory data analysis, univariate, bivariate, multivariate. I hope it's clear. So for next video, if you like this video, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Click on a bell icon so that you don't really miss out, updates related to my channel. And in our next video, let's explore about feature engineering, wherein we'll discuss about how to convert categorical data in your data into a numerical data, because machine learning cannot understand X kind of data. So we have different encoding techniques, and then block transformation. Like, what if you want to bring your, the target column into a normal distribution? We have a different transformation techniques. Let's drop columns which are not really important to us, and also feature selection, splitting data, and also finally scaling. Okay, and then we'll split data for training and testing. That will do it in our next series. Okay, if you like my video, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Happy learning. Thank you.